Banu, do you remember what were the statements we have discussed in the last class?
Keep, retain.
Keep, drop, rename. Keep, drop, and rename.
Rename.
What is the difference between a statement and an option?
Statement is permanent. Option is
Statements are. I didn't say that.
Statement
Not like
executes before the
statement
input
becomes
and
real.
option after
It
feature.
is more efficient.
Okay. Apart from that,
When we create multiple data sets, the same statement will look for all the data
okay.
sets.
What about that
And
option?
it is anywhere in the SAS program.
Up will work differently for different.
Visual requirements will be used with options.
And
Options
another
of
difference?
Statement we can write anywhere in the SAS program. Option will write only after data set.
Right after the data set.
Okay. What is another difference?
We can write each
options of
statement only in the
individual
data set.
You can write data step.
Keep
Okay, you can write
only
keep
the data
statement
set.
or wait. Okay, very good. We can write only in the data step, but option.
Both
Can
in
write
the
in
Step and
prompt
proc
step and
step.
data step.
both in the
Data step and prompt
prompts.
step.
Set.
By the way, how everybody is doing practice? Is it good? Going good?
Yes, sir.
If you're not having a meal in a day, that's fine. But don't skip the practice, okay? Don't ever skip practice. Anybody wants to say anything? Can we start the class? I'm expecting others to come.
Hello, sir.
Yes?
Sir, I have one doubt.
Yeah, sure.
What's the difference between SAS Studio and SAS?
SAS Studio and
This SAS, normal SAS.
both are same. I think we discussed it in the previous class, Salo, but anyway, I'm going to give a session on that. SAS Studio is academic free version for students. Okay. SAS 9.4 we are using every day, right?
Yes, sir.
When you're using SAS, but whatever the video SAS Studio, that SAS software version we are using, it is not a legal one. We didn't purchase the license, isn't it?
Yes.
Somebody purchased the license, and I will show you one thing. This is the procedure we use to identify when my SAS license is going to get expired, who is the license owner and everything. Can you see who is the license owner, this one? Can you see that one?
Okay.
Pukyong National University Mid-Terrain. So Pukyong is a university.
Mhm.
I think this is present in China.
Okay. Mhm.
Okay, somebody took the license, purchased the license in this university.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to them. Who did? They uploaded the licensed file. Okay, they what do you call? They uploaded this license onto the internet.
Mhm.
Okay, so we downloaded this document and are
Mhm.
using this licensing information in our systems.
Oh, fine.
Okay, so that means whatever that license that you're using, it is illegal. This is not our. We didn't purchase this one.
Okay, got it.
So I cannot use this in for the real time. If you want to use SAS 9.4 in the real time for 8 programmers, you need to pay 10 lakhs
Company will
for 1 year.
give us
Company will purchase.
Okay.
All the real time companies, they purchase.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So, but say for example, you're doing MS data analysis or you're doing MS degree on the data analysis. Okay. Now SAS is your part of your course curriculum. So if you have to submit a assignment on a data analysis, you have to use only SAS tool. Then how we can do that one? So for that purpose, for students access, they have given SAS on demand. We call it as a university edition, and we also call it as a what you call it as a
SAS Studio.
SAS Studio.
Okay.
I think in the starting, I sent that link. I shared this link.
Mhm.
So if you want to access, you need to have a username and password. Create a username and password. If you have a Gmail account, you can create a username and password. And then it will show you what and all the free versions that are available right now. And this SAS Studio is 2 types. One is, and of course, this SAS Studio works on, what you call cloud. One is you need to install the VMware virtual machine in your laptop. Then you can install this SAS Studio in that VMware. The second one is if you have a guarantee that you are going to have all the time Wi-Fi connection. So you don't need to download anything. By taking the username and password directly, you can connect to the SAS Studio online.
Mhm. Okay.
So the advantage with this one is you can work on this SAS Studio anywhere. You no need to have a SAS software now. You no need to install anything.
In browser also you can.
Yeah, in the browser directly it is going to get open. This is how SAS Studio interface looks like. In future, I'll give you a name because some small startup companies nowadays they're using SAS. Okay.
Mhm.
So now I'm going to share you this link, SAS on demand for academics. You can create a username and password, and so that you can use this one. Okay. Now here also you create the same code. Give me 1 second. SAS program. Now we can add a program here. So for example, data. I want to create data set name called class, semicolon, set SAS dot class, semicolon run. But the problem with this one is you do not have this SAS software in your system, right? We are connecting through cloud. So if you want to download any, if you want to import any Excel sheet or CSV file, generally where we are going to have our Excel sheets and CSV files in our machine, in our system.
Yes.
But this SAS software not present in our system, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
what we need to, first of all, you need to get all those raw files into SAS server. Then from there, you can import it.
Mhm.
That's the only difference between installing SAS software in our system or by using an online SAS Studio. I'll give in a session, maybe after the data step, so that whenever you do not have a SAS software in your laptop, directly you can connect to the SAS Studio and you can practice.
Okay. Fine.
In India, We use all this illegal. There are a lot of installation centers, coaching center. They install SaaS software. So we use this SaaS software 9.4. But in overseas, particularly in US and UK, you will not have such kind of installation centers, coaching centers. You have to do everything on your own. Okay. So this is how we are going to do that there. And the advantage with this one is like, it will show metadata, data set, and everything in one pane. Can you see on the left side, you can see all the metadata. On the right side, you can see the data set. This is the log window. If you have any errors, it will show the log window. It is very user friendly and easy to understand. Understand this one? I'll give you a session on SaaS Studio how to use this one. And one more thing, you didn't ask me in the real time, what is that we use? Some companies use SaaS Easy Enterprise Guide. Okay, it is also another interface by SaaS only. This is more of clinical friendly, clinical study, FDA friendly tool. This is SaaS Enterprise Guide. Okay, I'll give you a session on this SaaS Enterprise also, because this is what we use. Some of the company they use this easy. Okay. Now, in the last class, we have seen keep statement. And then we have seen the drop statement. And then we have seen rename statement. What the rename statement will do? Rename statement will rename variable name permanently. And then next we are going to discuss in today's class where statement. Tell me, I told you generally keep statement, drop statement, rename statement. All these three statements works on variables. Okay, but if you want to select the observations, we use where statement. What does this where statement do? Where statement selects observations based on condition that you have provided. So it selects observations based on the condition. So for example, I want to create a data set called class 1. And by the way, I want to create this data set from saself.class. Now tell me, I want to have only female students in the class 1. According to our current knowledge, we will write data set name, open the parenthesis, you will write where is equal to, again open the parenthesis, sex is equal to capital F, because I told you data is case sensitive. In the data, we have a capital F. We should write only capital F, and that too, since it's a character data, we should write within the quotations. Okay. Now, if I select the program, execute the program, tell me what I'm going to have in the class 1. In the class 1, I'm going to have only female students. This is what we have discussed during the data statement, isn't it? But in today's class, I want to do the same thing by using a where statement. How we can do that one? Data. I want to create a class to data set. I'm creating this from the saself.class. Now I'm writing where, which is a very straightforward, simple. Where condition. What is my condition? Where sex is equal to capital F. Simple. No hustle. Simply where sex is equal to F. Now select the program. When the observations are copying from saself.class into class 2, whichever observation satisfy this condition, only that observation will be get copied into class 2. Out of 19, 9 observations satisfy that condition. All the 9 observations will be get copied into class 2. So here, in both in class 1 and class 2, we are going to have the same data. But here I use a where statement, but here I'm using where option. And you know that always statement is far better than that option, because statement works before PDB. And the second one is, say for example, I want to create two data sets, DS1 and DS2. And I want to create both the data sets from where? I want to create both the data sets from saself.class. Okay, My requirement is in the DS1, I want to have all the students with age less than or equal to, okay, less than or equal to 13. 13. I want to have 14, 15, 16 in the DS2. So in the DS1, I want to have 11, 12, 13. In the DS2, I want to have 14, 15, 16. What you will do? How to write it?
Separate where statement for every data set.
Where statement or where option?
Where option?
Option for
I will go with the where option. Now I'm writing, say, for example, where is equal to, again, open the parenthesis, is
In
less than or equal to, if you want, you can write the in operator, where is in, open the parenthesis, 11, comma, 12, comma, 13, close the parenthesis 3 times. Okay, and of the TS2 again, open the parenthesis. What we should write now? Again, we should where is equal to, and open the parenthesis. What I should write now? Is in. Then I want to have, say, for example, 14, then 15, and then 16. Close the parenthesis 3 times. Okay, now select the program, execute the program. We are going to have DS1 where I'm going to have, sorry, 11, 12, 13. In the DS2, I'm going to have 14, 15, and then 16. Okay. Now, after this statements class, the next one is going to be the conditional statements. During the conditional statement, I will explain this where statement elaborately, in depth. Okay. Again, we'll discuss about the where statement. By the way, tell me, I want to have DS3 dataset. I want to create this from SAS help.class. In that, I want to have only students with the name Barbara. Tell me what should I do? Only name Barbara.
Statement.
Where name equal to.
where name equal
Where
to
name is equal
Where
to.
name is equal to
In quotation Barbara.
statement Barbara.
Barbara. Do you want to write like this one?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Do you want to execute?
case
Do you want to execute the program?
We need to check
we need
the
to check the
We need to check the data.
set.
Very good. We have
Data.
to check because it is a character data case sensitive. You need to understand how we have Barbara there. Now tell me, you have their proper case. I'm writing the proper case now. Now I'm selecting the program, executing it. Yes, we have DS3. We have only one observation with the name Barbara we got. Now I want to have even, Thomas also. What should I write? I want to have
And-
both Barbara and Thomas.
After
You want to
Barbara,
write and
Thomas.
Yes.
and
Thomas.
Thomas.
you want to make Thomas directly like this one? And Thomas is which variable value?
Name.
Again, it is a name. Again, you should write name is equal to Thomas. And can you please read the condition one more time? What is the condition we have written?
R we should use.
Name equal to Barbara.
You said where name is equal to Barbara and name is equal to Thomas. Can we have two names in one variable? One observation. You cannot use and. If you write and operator, you have to satisfy this condition, same time. Is it going to be the same time both name Thomas and Barbara? No. What is my requirement? I want to have either Barbara or Thomas both. I want to have both the names. So what is that option operator we should write now?
Or
Now select the program, execute it. Now I'm going to have both Barbara and Thomas. By the way, I want to have Mary also. Then what should I do? Again, you should write or name is equal to Mary. And I want to have Alfred also. Then what should I do? Or name is equal to Alfred.
write in option, no, sir.
Very good. Yes, sir. Can you write these many times or name is equal to or name is equal to? The length of the program is going to be too much, right? So I can write the same
their
condition.
name in.
How we can write the? Very good. Now we can write where name in, open the parenthesis. I want to have Barbara. Okay, Barbara, and then I'm writing a comma. Again, within the quotations, you should separate quotations. I want to have a Thomas, comma. You can write both singular double quotations. I want to have a Mary, comma, and then I want to have Alfred also, I'm writing that alphabet. This way, you can write n number of names. It is going to be much simpler and easier. Now we are going to have all the 4 observations because with each name we have one observation. Understand this one?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Clear.
So this is how we are going to write a where statement. Now, once you're done with the where statement, by the way, what is the difference between where statement and where option? Can you tell me what the difference between where statement and where option again? The same statement will work in the same way for all the data sets that are created under one data step. But what about the where option? It works for individual data sets. And we can write anywhere in the SAS program. Anywhere in SAS program. So what about the where option? Only after the
Only
data
after
set
the
name.
data set name.
Only after data set name within the parenthesis. And you know that where statement is more efficient and more where option is less efficient. And I told you where statement works, generally statement works only in
Data step.
data step. Option works in option. What about the option?
Both data and
Proc step for data.
Both data step and data. So this is what we have seen so far. But now see, I'm writing. I want to print SAS.cars. I'm writing proc print data is equal to SAS help.cars. By the way, I want to print only BMW cars data. Now I'm writing there make is equal to, we have their BMW uppercase. I'm writing only BMW uppercase. Now, am I writing where statement or where option here?
Statement.
A statement. So for the first time, I'm writing in a statement in a proc step. See, when I execute the program, did we get the data first of all? Yes, we got the data. And that too, can you see what data we got? We got only BMW car. That means what you can understand for the first time, where statement works both in data step and proc step. Unlike other statements, where statement works both in data step and proc step. And where option also works both in data step and proc step. So far, whatever the statements we have seen, keep, drop, rename, I told you those statement works only in data step. It won't work in the proc step. But where statement works both in data step and proc step. Clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Kalyan, you have any doubt? You raise your hand. You have any doubts? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, since we are discussing about the statement, I want to discuss one more time length statement. Tell me what is the purpose? Why we did the length statement? To give length for a SAS variable.
Variable.
Okay. So for example, data, I'm creating again class 1 data set. I'm writing set SAS class. You know, while I'm doing this one, I want to give length for name variable 50. Tell me how we can assign length for name variable 50. How to assign the length now?
Length.
We should write a length statement. By the way, where we should write the length statement?
After
After the
the
data.
Before the set statement.
before set.
Now, I'll write the length statement. Now I'm writing the length statement.
Length.
For which variable I want to assign the length? For name variable. It is a character variable dollar symbol. How much length I want to have? Say for example, I want to have 50.
50 dot.
Now 50, if you want, you can specify dot symbol, but dot is not a mandatory. Now select the program, execute the program. Yes, we are going to have a class 1 data set. Open the class 1. Now we have a name variable. Now we open this one. Can you see what is the length of the name variable now we have? 50. And I told you, what is the minimum length you can keep for a character variable?
Okay.
Minimum length for a character variable. 1.
One.
And what is the maximum length that you can keep?
32,000.
32,000.
32,767.
Very good. In the same way, I want to specify a length for a numerical variable. What is the minimum length you can give for a numerical variable?
3.
3.
3. And what is the maximum length that you can keep for a numerical variable?
8.
8 bytes.
Bytes. I told you 8 bytes is equal to how many digits?
12 digits.
12.
12 digits.
12
If
digits.
you have more than 12 digits, then what will happen?
It will be printed
Come as
in
an
format.
electronic
E
format,
format.
E format or
Or
E
we
motion
don't
format.
get data.
Okay. Now I want to specify the length for age variable. Now I'm writing age. And in the age, do you know how we have values? Like we have 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, like that. So how much length that would be enough now? 2. I'm trying to specify the 2. Okay. Now select the program, execute the program. If I go to the log window, this is the error that we will get. Because the length of a numerical variable, we can keep anything only between 3 to 8. Now, minimum we can give 3 only. I'm going to specify 3 dot. Now select the program, execute the program. Now we have a class 1. If I open the age variable, can you say what length of age variable that I have?
3.
3. But still, it will read 12 digits. Understand this one? So this is how we can specify a length by writing a length statement. If you want to give the same length for 2 variables, you no need to write a length every time. Simply write all the variables, then write what is the length you want to have. Okay. Now, if I write like this one, tell me what is going to happen. The same 50 will be get applied for both name and sex. We have discussed about the length statement in the last class attribute also, and we are discussing in today's because anyway we are discussing statements one more time. And then after the next statement that we are discussing is label statement. What is the purpose of label statement? Can you please tell? It specifies
names.
Label the name.
alias name
Alias statement
or
or descriptive
temporary
name.
name or descriptive name. Descriptive name for whom?
Was for SAS.
For a SAS variable. Okay. Now data, I want to create a DS1 data set. I'm creating this from the SAS dot. Okay. Now, where we should write the label statement, by the way?
After data. After
You can write either before the set, after the set.
Or after the set.
You can write anywhere. But if you write the before the set, what will happen? Whatever the order that we have in the label statement, that is going to the variable order in the data set. But if you write after the set statement, since the set statement is going in first position, it will decide the order of the variables, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Now, by the way, I want to specify the length sex variable as a student gender. Then how to write the syntax? Label
is
variable name is equal to open the parenthesis. I want to have it as a student gender.
gender.
And you should write either single quotations or double quotations. And at the end of the statement, we should write a semicolon. This is how we can apply the label. Select the program, execute the program. Yes, we will have a DS1 data set. Now there we have a sex variable. If I click on this one, now we have the variable name sex that is a permanent. But whatever the label that we applied, it is a temporary alias descriptive name. By the way, what is the length of the label we can write?
256 characters.
Very good. We can write up to 256 characters. And we can have embedded spaces, we can have special characters, we can start with a number or a special character also. And by the way, I want to apply the labels for all the variables of the data set. Data, say for example, DS2, set, I'm creating this from the SAS class, label. So now first variable, the first variable is a name, is equal to, within the singular double quotations, now I'm writing, say for example, student name as per records. In the same statement, now the second variable sex, I want to have it as a student gender. Third one is age. I want to have it as a student age in years. And fourth variable is height. Height is equal to, I want to have it as a student height in centimeters. Okay, and finally weight is equal to, I want to have it as a student weight in LBS. And finally, we should give a semicolon because we are going to have only one label statement. Now the label will be get applied for all the variables of the data set. And by the way, sometimes when you open the data set, even though you have a label, you cannot see the label. You know why? Because by default, in the view, we are going to have a column names. So it will appear only the column names, but we have a labels, but it will not show the label. If you want to see the labels in the first priority, what we should do? First of all, open the data set, go to the view, now click on column labels. Now automatically you have a label, it will display the label. If you do not have a label, by default it will display the variable names. And by the way, can you please tell me, I want to cancel label for age variable. How to cancel the label? How to cancel the label? If you ask
Label
me,
is
if I
equal.
ask you, you might have
Label equal to semicolon, sir.
Yes. Now simply label is equal to, label variable name is equal to semicolon. Now the label will be get cancelled. Okay. Now since we do not have a label, it will print the name. But I do not want to print anything. I want to have a blank space. Then what should I write now? Age is equal to empty quotations. Now it won't print anything. It will print a blank space. This is about the label statement. Clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Is this clear? Okay, very good. The next statement that we have is sum statement, or we also call it as a plus operator. What is sum statement or plus operator? So for example, data, I'm creating a data set called DS1. I'll give the definition first. It adds a result of an expression to an accumulator variable. It adds a result of an expression to an accumulator variable. What does it mean? Say for example, I am creating a data set called DS1. I'm writing data set name DS1. I'm creating a variable called x1 is equal to 3, x2 is equal to 5, x3 is equal to 7, x4 is equal to 2, x5 is equal to 4. I'm writing x6 is equal to, say for example, 8. And then I'm writing x7 is equal to 1, x8 is equal to, I'm writing 10. I want to combine all the 8 variable values. So that I want to create a new variable called total. I'm writing total is equal to
Semicolon is missing at x6, sir.
x1 plus I'm writing x2 plus x3. I'm writing plus x4 plus x5, then plus x6, then I'm writing x7 plus x7. Can somebody tell me what is the total I will get now? 3 plus 5, 8. 8 plus 7, 8 plus 7, 15, plus 2, 17, 21, 29, 30, plus 10, 40. Now, this is the value we can expect. Now, in the DS1, along with the 8 variables, I'm going to have a 9th variable called total. In the total, I'll get 40. Now, what will happen here? You know, in the starting, total is equal to x1. What is the x1 value?
3,
3. Total is 3. 3 plus what is the x2 value?
5, 8.
Now it is 8. 8 plus 7. 15. 15 plus 2.
17.
17. 17 plus 4.
21.
21. 21 plus 8.
29.
29 plus 1.
30.
30. 30 plus 10 is equal to 40. Here, we don't use a sum keyword. Just we are going to add a plus symbol. That's what this is called, plus operator or sum statement. There'll be nothing like a sum keyword. It is going to add the result of an expression to an accumulator variable. Here the accumulator variable is total. The result of x1 is 3. So total will be 3. Plus x2 value is 5. 3 plus 5 will become 8. Plus x3 value 7, it will become 15 and so on and so on. Now we get the 40. Now What I'm going to do in the x4, now I'm keeping a null value. There is no value in the x4 variable. Now tell me what is going to happen. First, total is equal to x1. What is the x1 value?
3.
3. 3 plus
8.
5. 3 plus 8 is equal to 8. 8 plus 7?
15.
15. 15 plus null is equal to null. Again, now we have a null. Null plus 4. Null plus 4 is equal to null. Null plus 8. Null plus 8 is equal to null. And null plus 1. Null plus 1 is equal to null. And null plus 10 is equal to null. So now that means what is the final value I'm getting now? I am getting the final value, null value. So that means if you have a one missing value, one null value, then what is the final value that you will get? The final value that you will get is a null. Understand this one? So when the sum statement work, sum statement only work when we have non-missing values. You should have values in all the variables. Understand this one? Thus, in the real time, we don't use much this plus operator, because when I use a plus operator, I'm writing 8 variables. If you have one missing value, what is the final result we are getting?
Null.
Null, which is not desirable. When you have a missing value, any one of the arguments or a variable, what we should do? We need to add the remaining values, isn't it?
Yes.
That's why in future, we are going to use another function called sum function. We don't use sum statement, we use sum function. How we are going to do sum function? This is how we are going to write. We should write a function named sum, open the parenthesis, whatever the variable that you want to add, you should write all the variables like this one. These are called arguments. So between the arguments, you should write a comma, and then I'm writing x8. Now see, when you have a value, when you do not have a missing value, both sum statement and sum function will give the same result. Do not worry at the sum function. I will explain that function later. Now, can you see? In both, this is the result of sum statement or plus operator. This is the result of sum function. Both will give the same result. But if we have a null value in any one of the variables, now the sum statement will return null value. But some function will return some of the non-missing values. అంటే ఇప్పుడు నాకు టోటల్లోనేమో ఏమొస్తుందండి? టోటల్లోనేమో నల్ వస్తుంది, బట్ టోటల్ 1లో ఏమొస్తుందో తెలుసా అండి? In total 1, you will get 38.
38.
This is how we are going to get it. This is the result of sum statement of plus operator. This is the result of sum function. Understand? Now, very, very important question. What is the difference between sum statement or plus operator versus sum function? Sum function ki sum statement ki difference enti? Or difference between plus operator or sum function? What you say? When you do not have a missing value, both will work in the same way. But when we have a missing value, what is the sum statement will do?
Null.
Sum statement will do null. But what the sum function will do? It will return some of the non-missing values, some of the remaining values, some of the non-missing values it will return. Understand this one?
Yes.
So here x1 equal to 3 semicolon అని పెడుతున్నాం కదా సార్ ప్రతి వాల్యూకి
Comma.
ఒక
Yeah,
statement
right. No, in one statement you can create only one variable. For each variable you should add one statement. Okay? Clear, everybody? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, once again, tell me the difference, sir.
Some statement and some function will give the same result when you do not have any missing values, okay? But when you have a missing value, what the sum statement will do? Sum statement, the final result will be null value.
Okay.
But what the sum function will do? సమ్ ఆఫ్ ద నాన్ మిస్సింగ్ వాల్యూస్ అంటే మిస్సింగ్ వాల్యూ తీసేసి మిగిలిన వాటన్నిటిని సమ్ అప్ చేస్తుంది.
Okay.
It will discard the missing value and it will sum up the remaining values.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
some statement and some function ఒకే డేటా సెట్ లో యూజ్ చేయవచ్చా సార్?
Yes, we have used here, no?
ఎస్, ఒకవేళ సమ్ ఫంక్షనే కావాలి అంటే సమ్
You can
ఫంక్షన్
use some function. So we don't use sum statement. As I said, the problem with the sum statement is if you have a one null value, the final result is going to be null value. So I don't use that one. I will go with only some function.
ఓకే సార్,
Okay.
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
Yeah. The next statement that we are doing is very, very important statement. The statement is going to be retain statement. Very, very important. And we have so many applications. Without retain statement, we will not have a day in programming life. What is the function we have seen so far for retain statement? It retains variable.
Order.
Variable.
This is the only one side of retain function, retain statement. But the most important application of the retain statement is it retains current value for subsequent iteration. It retains current value for subsequent iteration. What does it mean? Very, very important application, very, very important. If you didn't understand, please let me know, because today, tomorrow, and if I guess day after tomorrow also we are going to discuss about retain statement. Just imagine how many applications we are going to have in the real time. Okay, now I want to create a data set called sales. Okay, I have a car sales information about a salesperson. Salesperson ID is SID. Month of sales. In each month, how many sales he did. Now I have one more variable called sales. I am writing the data lines. The salesperson ID is 101. In January month, he did 12 cars. In same person, in February month, he did 10 cars. The same 101. In the March month, he did 14. In April, he did 20. 101. In the May month, he did 18. In 101, in June month, he did 26. 101, in the 7th month, he did 14. 101, in the 8th month, he did just 9. 101, in the 9th month, he did 4. And 101, in the 10th month, he did 25. Now, this is my data set. Okay. Now, if I execute the program, I am going to have a sales data set. In the sales data set, we are going to have three variables: salesperson ID, month of sales, and then sales. If I ask you total sales, what you will do? You will total all these values. So now you'll give the total value here. In SAS, we have around 20 different methods to get the total. We have so many different methods to, multiple ways we can get the total. But in today's class, that is not my requirement. What is my requirement? I want to know what is the total sales by the end of the February. If I ask you, what are the totals by the end of the February, what you will do? What we should do? You need to add 12 plus 10, 22. Isn't it? If I ask you, what are the total sales by the end of the April? If I ask you what the total sales by the end of the April, what we should do?
12 plus 10 plus
12
14
plus
plus
10
20.
plus 14
12,
plus
10,
20.
14 plus 20.
If I ask you what is the total sales by the end of the May, or by the end of the June, or by the end of the July, so sometimes I want to have an accumulation total. I want to have intermediate totals. How to achieve that intermediate total? To do that one, now I am writing a new statement called retain statement. Okay, retain. I want to have a variable called total. I'm writing a total. I'm keeping my initial value 0 semicolon. Retain variable name, initial value 0. Then in the next line, I'm going to do one more assignment statement. Now I'm writing total is equal to total plus sales. What is the statement I'm writing? Total is equal to total plus sales. Now, if I select the program, if I execute the program, now if I go to the sales data set, now this is how we have. Now, can you see in the first observation, what is the total value I'm having?
12.
In the second observation, 12 plus 10, 22. In the third observation, 22 plus 14, 36. In the fourth observation, 36 plus 20, we have 56. Plus 18, 74. Every time the new value is adding for, current value, existing value, and we are getting an accumulation value for each observation. And finally, at the end of the 10th observation, what is the total sales that we have? The total sales that we have is 152. To get this one, what are the two extra statements we have written? First of all, I have written a statement called retain. In the retain, what did I specify? I specified a new variable, and what is the value kept? 0. And then what is the next statement I'm writing here? Total is equal to total plus sales. What does it mean? How it will work? If you want to understand the return statement, if you want to use the return statement, you need to understand the backend process, how it is going to work in the backend. If you understand that one, you can use a return statement very efficiently. Okay, I want to show that one. Remember, in the past few days back, we discussed the backend process.
Yes.
Remember that backend process? I told you, whenever you execute the program in the backend, first of all, it is going to check that syntax errors. If you do not have any syntax error, then what will happen? I told you from that point onwards, the whole process will be get divided into 2 steps. What are the 2 steps that we have? Compilation phase and execution phase. In the compilation phase, what are the important 3 steps we are going to have again? Input buffer, PDB. And PDB. And I told you in the descriptor area, we are going to have a metadata.
Yes.
It will save all the metadata. What is the metadata? Data about data. So what information we can find there? We can find variable name, data type, label, input, and format. In today's class, that is not so important. But the most important thing is, the PDB. I'll discuss about that one. So this is the data set I executed. This is the program I submitted. Okay. I told you first it is going to create input buffer. Input buffer, I told you, input buffer is just like a railway track. We are going to have a number of boxes like this one. We are going to have boxes. As soon as the input buffer has been created, I told you this is called logical memory area. As soon as the input buffer has been created, what will happen? The first record in our program will come and joins the input buffer. What is the first record that we have? The first record that we have is 1, 0, 1 space. Then we have a month value 1 space. Then we have a sales value 12. And I told you, as soon as the input buffer has been created, now it will read the program. Based on that, it is going to create the descriptor area. In the descriptor area, what information we are going to have? The first information that we are going to have variable name, which is SID. What is the second variable that we have? The second variable that we have is in a month. And the third variable that we have in a sales. And you know that we don't specify anywhere dollar symbol. So all the 3 variables are numerical variables. And by default, what is the length of all the 3 variables? 8. And we haven't mentioned the label, so there will be no label, no informat, and no format. We do not require any format because all this data is standard data. We do not require any informat. And of course, I didn't specify any format, so you cannot find that information. We are going to have only variable name, data type, and then length. So this information will be get saved in the descriptor portion, and this is called metadata. In today's class, we do not require this one, so I do not want. I'm going to erase this one. Okay. Now, after the input, after the descriptor area, then what we are going to have now? We are going to have PDB. In the PDB, what we are going to have in the PDB? I told you in the PDB, we are going to have the variables that you mentioned in our program. What variable that we mentioned in our program? In input statement, what are the variables that we have?
SID
We have
months.
variable
Say
SID.
month distance.
And then we are going to have the next variable month. And then we are going to have a third variable sales. Along with this, you know that in the PDV, we are going to have two automatic variables. The first one is underscore, error underscore,
Score.
error underscore, and then we are going to have underscore,
Null.
n underscore.
Underscore.
And I told you, by default, all the numerical variables at the starting, what we are going to have?
Period symbol.
Period symbol. Underscore, underscore, by default, the starting, what we are going to have? 0.
0.
In the starting, what is underscore and underscore value that we will have?
1.
1. And I told you, this is the end of compilation phase. Once the compilation phase got over, what is the next phase that we have? Execution phase. And I told you, during the execution phase, what will happen? The program will be get executed. I told you, just imagine each statement is in a polling officer. Each record is a voter. I told you, each record will be get executed by each statement one time. Now tell me, in our program, what is the first statement that we have? Data sales. Data sales. Now it will create a new data set called sales. It will create a new data set called sales. Now we are going to have a sales data set. Where the sales data set will be get created, by the way? In the work library, because I have written only one level naming. So this will be get created in the work library. Because of space issues, I'm not writing big names. So here we have the first variable is SID. The second variable is going to be month. And what is the third variable that we are going to have? Sales. Very good. Then what is the next statement that we have after the data sales?
Input.
I told you in the back end, we are going to have input pointer. It will start here. The rule, space or 8 characters, whichever comes first, it should stop there. We have 1, 0, 1 space. Now this 101 will go to which variable in the PDV? And after the space again we will start here. We have 1 space. 1 will go to which variable now? It will go to
month.
After the space we have it 1 to 12. This 12 will go to which variable now?
Sales.
Fine. This is all. Since you don't have any error, underscore errors underscore remains 0. This since the first cycle, first iteration, underscore underscore after the input statement.
Retain.
In the return statement, what is the variable that we have?
Total.
Now in the PDV, it will create a new variable called total. And by the way, what is the initial value I kept?
0.
Very good. And this total I have written in which statement?
In
I have written in the return statement. And by the way, remember in the last I told you, underscore, r underscore, underscore, n underscore, both are automatic variables. So since these are automatic variables, we are going to have by default drop option here. That's why these two variables will be get dropped in the PAV itself. That's why we cannot see these two variables into the data set. Now, in the last class, I told you the difference between statement and option. Say, for example, in the program, okay, if you write here, say, for example, drop is equal to month. You know where this option will apply? This option will apply here. Here, this will be get applied. Is it applying before PDV or after PDV?
After, sir.
After PDV. So by the time all the data entered from input buffer to PDV. Work on the all the work has been done by the time. You came to the class and then I said there is no class. It is going to be waste of money, efforts, time, and everything, right? Understand? That's why option is not sufficient. But in the program, instead of writing a drop month here, okay, if I write a drop here statement, of a month. You know where this will work now? This will work here.
PD.
Mm.
Before PD.
Guys, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
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 Can you see my screen?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, if I use a statement, the statement will work here. So the data will be get filtered before entering into the PDB. That's why I'm saying that statements are much efficient because SASs will do less work. Understand the difference between statement and option?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Again, coming back to our current program. Now, so I have written a statement called retain. In the retain statement, I specified the total initial value 0. So in the PDB, now it will create a new variable called total and the value is 0. And we mentioned this variable in the retain. By the way, can you tell me what is the literal meaning of retain in English? What do you mean by retain?
Okay.
Keep it as a
To hold.
To hold it back.
To hold
To
it back.
keep it with you. Even though you're losing all other things, even though you're discarding everything, you're throwing away everything. But if you keep one thing with you firmly, that is called retaining. Retaining with you, holding back with you, keeping with you, and that means retain, isn't it? Understand the retain meaning?
Yes, sir.
Even though you're losing all the other things, even though you're throwing all the other things, if you're keeping most valuable thing with you, that is called, you can say you have retained that whatever the gold ring or gold chain with you, if you retain that one with you, call it as a name, we can say that you have retained that one. Now, I told you. Now tell me, after retain total initial value 0, what is the next statement that we have?
Total.
Total is equal to
Total plus sales.
Total plus
total
Plus sales.
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 Now tell me, total is equal to total plus sales. What is the total value current now in the PDB?
0.
0.
0.
0.
Plus what is the sales value?
12.
12.
0 plus 12 is equal to
12.
12.
now in the total we are going to have value 12 because we have written total is equal to total plus sales. 0 plus 12 is equal to 12. Now I told you, now before the run, remember what is statement we are going to have here? Here we are going to have an output statement. I told you this is the default. What this output statement will do, whatever information or observation that we have in the PDB, that will write that observation into the data set. Now, right now, what we have in the PDB? What I have in the PDB? In a SID variable, we have 101. In the month variable, what is the value that we have?
1.
1. In the sales variable, what is the value that we have?
12.
12. Now, it will create a one more variable called 12.
Okay.
Tell me in the PDB, what is the value that we have in the total?
0.
What is the value we have in the total?
0 plus 12. 12.
12.
12.
Now, we are going to have a 12 here. Now, remember, when the observation moved from input buffer into PDB, input buffer is going to be get cleaned out.
Erased.
It is going to be get washed out. And then I told you, when the observation moves from PDB into the data set, what the PDB should be get? PDB should be get cleaned out. It is going to be get, it has to be get reinitialized. So SID is going to be get washed out. Month is going to get washed out. Since we do not have any error, underscore remains 0, underscore. Now, first observation over, first cycle over. Now it is ready for the second cycle. Now underscore is going to become 2. Now, underscore is going to become 2. Now, first observation over, first cycle over. Now it is ready for the second cycle. Now underscore is going to become 2. Now, first observation over, second cycle. Now underscore is going to become 2. Now, first observation over, second cycle. Now underscore is going to become 2. all the variable values will be get washed out except the total. You know why? Because we retain that variable. It is going to hold the value back. It is going to keep the value as it is. So now how we can explain what are the mechanism that work for the retain? You should say, generally, when an observation moves from PDB into the data set, the PDB should be get reinitialized. Everything will come back into the normalcy, except the variable that we have retained. Since we mentioned that variable in the retain statement, in PDB, it is going to retain that value. Understand this one? Now, first cycle is over. Now the second cycle will take place. Now, in the second cycle, again, what will happen now? The second observation, first where it will come? It will come into input buffer 101 space on values 2 space, and the sales value that we have is 10. Now data sales, now it is creating a data set called sales. The second statement is input. It will start here 101 space 101 will come to PDB. After the space 2 will come into PDB, and after the sales 2, 10 will come to sales. Again we have already retained that variable. Now we have a total is equal to, what is the statement that we have? Total is equal to
Total plus sales.
total plus sales. Now what is my sales value now in PDB? 10. And what is the total the value I have now? 12. Now what it will become? Total plus sales 10 plus total is 12 plus 10. 12 plus 10 it is going to become 22. Now what should happen? Now the output statement will write into the output data set. It should go to that output data set. Now, so what is going to happen now? This observation 101 month value is 2, sales, what is the sales value that we have now?
10.
Sales value 10. And what is the total sales value?
22.
And again, what should happen now? Now it is going to clean, first of all, input buffer. Everything is going to get cleaned out, and then the PDB should get reinitialized. So all the numerical variables will get a period symbol. If you have a character variable, everything is going to be blank space. Now, since you do not have any error underscore remains 0, and now underscore, now it is ready for the third cycle, third iteration. Now it is going to become underscore is going to become 3. But this value is going to retain because we have mentioned that variable in which statement? Retain statement. Again, the third observation will come into input buffer. Then from it will come to PDB, and then this statement will execute. Total is equal to total plus sales. Now the sales value is 14. 14 plus 22 is equal to, it is going to become 36. Then the third observation will come into data set. 36. This way, every time, since it is keeping the current value, whatever the next cycle, when the next cycle executes, it is going to add that value to the current value. That's why, what is the definition that we specified? It holds current value for subsequent or the next cycle. Next cycle కోసం current value ను hold చేసి ఉంచుతుంది అన్నమాట. It is holding the current value for subsequent iteration, and that we call it as a retain. And you should say in such a way that when the examiner interview asking how the retain statement works, you should say, in general, when observation moves from PDB into data set, the PDB should be get reinitialized. That is the keyword you should use, reinitialized. But if you mention any variable in the retain statement, that variable will not be get reinitialized. It will hold the value. Since I have assignment statement in the program, every time the new value will be get added to the current value so that it will be get accumulated. That is how we can have an accumulator variable. Understand this one, everybody? Very, very important concept. If you know the background information, how it is works mechanism, and we can do all that applications in tomorrow's class.
So here accumulated value will totals.
Yes, because of what is the statement I'm writing here? Total is equal to total plus every time to the total, the sales value will be added.
Assignment.
Assignment in the sense, if you are writing any arithmetic operation,
Okay. Okay.
that's called an assignment statement.
Okay, sir.
Sir,
Sales
retain statement will work for all operators or only this?
Yes, very often you can use a multiplication, you can use addition, you can use for any operator, any arithmetic operator you can use, and even you can write character data also.
Okay.
We'll see that in tomorrow's class.
Sir, here in PDV,
Yes, in PDV,
కరెంట్ వాల్యూ యాడ్ చేసిన తర్వాత వచ్చే వాల్యూ ప్రతి సైకిల్ కి ఉంటుంది సార్, అంటే 22
Yes.
నెక్స్ట్ 36.
next is going to be 36. Yes, next is going to be 36 because it is going to hold the value, no?
సార్ ఇఫ్ ఇట్స్ రిటైన్ స్టేట్మెంట్ లో టోటల్ వాల్యూలో ఇనిషియల్ 0 ఇవ్వకుండా వేరే వాల్యూ ఇస్తే విత్ ప్లస్.
So for example, if you mention here in the starting 10, okay? So in the starting cycle, what is going to happen? 10 plus 12 is equal to?
22.
In the starting itself, 22. 22 plus 10, 32. 14 plus 20. Understand? We'll see all those applications in tomorrow's class.
ఓకే సార్.
Sir, sales come under current value, sir.
Pardon?
Sales come under current value, sir.
Yes. Sales value every time ఏమవుతుందని సేల్స్ వేరియబుల్ మీరు రిటైన్ లో రాలేదు కాబట్టి ఎవ్రీ టైమ్ ఇట్స్ గోయింగ్ టు గెట్ రీఇనిషియలైజ్డ్. Only total will not be get reinitialized because we have mentioned that in the return statement.
The current value adds or accumulates to the total variable.
Yes. Because we have written a statement called total is equal to total sales. So total ki every observation lo sales add అవుతుంటుంది. So you will get an accumulation value. Tell me, now you understand the mechanism. Tell me when I'm writing the program. Okay, somebody said, what happened if you start initial value? At the starting operation, what will be first? D2. Then 10 plus 10, that we have. Now you'll get what will happen if I'm not specifying anything here. If you don't specify anything in the PV, what is numerical value will have? Which is null value, right? Null plus 12 is equal to?
Null.
So you'll have null. Null plus 10 is equal to?
Null.
Now every time you get null value. Because it is going to complex operator. Every time you get one null. నేను రీటైన్ చేయకుండా if I'm not retaining, simply what I'm doing, I'm writing simply a variable called total is equal to 0. Now tell me what will happen. It is any other normal variable, right? If it is a normal variable, every time db, what happen now? It is initialized. So every time 10 plus 12 only, 10 plus 10 only, 10 plus 4, sorry, 0 plus 12 only, 0 plus, because initial value of 0, 0 plus 10 is equal to 10 only, 0 plus 4 is equal to 14. It is not going to get accumulated. Because we are not retaining that variable, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Now this is how we are going to have.
Got it, sir.
Yes, sir, got it.
And this is how the retain statement works. Okay? We'll see all that application in tomorrow's class. Clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay then. See you in tomorrow's class.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.